What's up everyone, today I'll be sharing 5 tips on how to become better at zombies. Okay, so my first tip would be to use like buildables and traps and everything on the map. And I know Infinite Warfare is not the most popular game ever, but I'm going to use it as an example. Like with the buildables on this game, you get like one every other round probably, and this is like very vital. Like with a sentry turret, you could place it down and it could basically just like kill all the zombies for you and really get you like high rounds fast. And then there's also Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 and stuff where you can build a shield, and you can also build the Apothecary Servant, which like with the shield it could basically be like an upgraded version of Jug, like back in the day on Doris. And then the Apothecary Servant, that's like one of the best wonder weapons ever, if not the best. So this just like proves that buildables can get you far in games. They're probably like the best way to really get those high rounds and become better zombie players. Okay, so I was looking through the footage and I didn't really explain this much, but this is like the perfect clip for showing how a buildable can really push your gameplay. Like how it's killing all the zombies for me, like even if they're in front of me and they look like they might be in their way, the fireworks trap basically just like saves my life, I guess you could say. But, yeah. So my second tip will be knowing when to pick up certain power-ups. So this is going to differ between every power-up, but start off with a nuke, I guess. In the early rounds, you're definitely not going to want to pick it up that often unless it's like the end of a round. Like, so it's not actually killing the zombies, but you're still getting points. And then with later rounds, you're going to want to pick up maybe a little bit more often, like 30s, maybe late 20s, you know, so like you save your ammo and you can end up going farther instead of needing a max ammo or something. And then secondly, with the max ammos, you're not going to want to pick these up too often, especially when you're close to max ammo already. And this would be because like you'd basically be wasting it if you picked it up, which might sound weird. You might be thinking, oh, I'm going to waste it if I let it go away. But the truth is, if you leave the max ammo and you don't pick it up, it'll like multiply and come back with more max ammos later, if that makes sense. Like I do this all the time and I end up getting more max ammos in the later rounds. Like it really works. And then of course there's also the double points, insta kill, and carpenter, where these don't matter as much. Like carpenter, if you get it all the time on later rounds, it might be able to slow down your gameplay, because then it's going to take zombies to get, or longer to get into the map. And then with the double points, you could get that like, you should probably get that all the time on the earlier rounds, but the later rounds it doesn't really matter as much, so don't risk your life to try and get it. And then with the insta kill, you should probably get that a lot, just so like you don't have that chance of dying, or well, it won't be as great because all the zombies are going to be insta kill, so it's going to be a lot easier obviously. And that should just about wrap it up for all the power-ups. Okay, so for my third tip will be knowing what perks to buy, and this one will be a little bit more straightforward and easier to remember. So there's Jug, which is like, that's like an essential perk. You're definitely gonna need that all the time. And then if you're playing solos, you should definitely get Quick Revive. And like if you're playing online, Quick Revive won't be as vital, but you can still get in to be a good perk. And then there's double tap. That'll probably be like the second or third best perk in the game because it doubles the damage of all your guns. So this would definitely be like a great investment for you. And then also there's stamina up, and this is like probably the best perk for training because you're going to be a little bit faster, so you're going to be able to get out of those tight situations a lot easier. Then probably the second best perk would be Widow's Wine, but that's like essential to Black Ops 3. But you're still gonna want that every time you play Black Ops 3 because it'll basically be like a second Jug, I guess you could say. And yeah, and that'll basically wrap it up for all the perks, because all the other perks are basically like luxury perks, like Speed Cola. Like you don't really need these things, but they do help a lot. But yeah, on to the next tip. Okay, so my fourth tip will be knowing how to train. Training on every map will be different. Like in this clip I have here, Shadows of Evil, I basically have this route I run, and like I find this to be a pretty safe route, and I can get through it pretty well without messing up too often. But with every map, it'll be different. Like when you're on the giant or something, you might be in a tighter space, so you have to run like an 8-figure train or a circle train or something like that. So yeah. So basically, to figure out what train you would want to run, you'd want to like evaluate the map, I guess you could say, and feel or see what area you feel the most comfortable in, and then you basically just like, well, with the experience this will be easier to do, but you try to figure out how you'd want to run your train and what you feel will work best for like gathering up the zombies and being able to kill them easier. This can differ when you're online though, because a player could be in the area you want to train in, so you're gonna have to like come up with an area to train in on the fly. And when we're talking about like 8-figure trains and circle trains, like that's just like for the basics, for like the beginners and stuff, you know. So you really don't have to run something like that. You can run whatever you feel safe with. Also, when you become more experienced with zombies, you can start increasing your sensitivity as it feels right. And then what this will do is like it'll help you with those tight situations, so you can maneuver a lot better and get through them a lot easier. And then when you become even more experienced with zombies, you can be like a super nerd kind of and do what I do. Like your sensitivity is so high, so you can maneuver pretty fast. So you can like, as you're walking by a zombie or you're running by him, you can like turn to where he'll hit your shield and you won't activate your Widow's Wine, and this will like actually make a big difference in the end. And then you also have other factors like round-based boss zombies, and you're basically gonna have to like change up your train a little bit so you can still train. And then when you get to a safe point during the round, you could then start to like spray down the boss zombie like a Margot or something, you know, shoot all its eyes out. And yeah, that should basically wrap it up for my fourth tip. On to the next one. Okay, so my fifth and final tip to really improve at zombies would be consistency. Which this might sound weird at first, but basically just like you have to play the game like on a consistent basis, like maybe a couple times a week or once a day, once every other day. And this is probably the most important tip, just because like you really need to play the game to improve and stuff. And that should just about wrap it up for the video, so remember to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for future content.